On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Monument by Hallows' Eve. It's not Halloween yet.
No, it is not.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal, and we like to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And today, we are talking about Monument from Hallows' Eve. They're a band from Atlanta. They were founded in 1983, kind of a thrash metal, speed metal sort of outfit.
Yeah, speed metal.
I mean, speed metal, to me, is not a thing.
You don't think so?
I don't think, to me, speed metal is not its own genre. To me, speed metal is this other genre just played really fast.
Sure.
And at the time when speed metal was popular, that was thrash metal. It's just thrash metal played really fast. That's all it is to me.
Or it shouldn't be confused with the type of metal that they have in Idaho. That'd be spud metal.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ. Congratulations.
Yeah, to me, speed metal is just fast, particularly fast thrash metal, because it's not like thrash metal is slow.
No.
Maybe it's just me, but I've never quite thought of speed metal as being its own thing.
All right.
But what do I know? I'm a young feller. I'm a young feller. So what's up? How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. I mean, I gotta put the old motorcycle in the shed here.
Yeah.
Do that. I rode it like twice this summer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think my spirit is broken. I think I'm.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, all things considered, over the last, 7 months, 7 months.
Has it been 7 months?
Yeah. All things considered, I understand. And I mean, we're going to supposedly be getting snow on Saturday.
Yeah, like a dusting of it. Not a lot.
That's great. Yeah, not a lot of snow, but it's possible.
It won't help those guys who are doing the snowmobile races up in Lansford. Yeah.
It is. I mean, it is an odd thing to be doing, but they're holding a grass drag race on snowmobiles.
Yeah.
Which I guess make for damn sure there's no rocks in the way, and you'll probably be all right. I don't know how well the steering is going to. I mean, that's why it's a drag race.
Sure.
But
going forward.
Yeah, steering a snowmobile on grass is probably not particularly easy. I wonder how a snowmobile would perform in like a layer of mud.
I don't know.
That would be incredibly messy.
Yes, it would. I've seen them go across water.
Yes, that is always terrifying and impressive.
It is. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
I mean, in that you are limited. You're limited to pretty much going completely straight as well.
Right. And you better be going at a good clip.
Yeah, you better be going fucking fast. But it's always neat to see. I think I saw one video where it was seeming a very large lake I'm pretty sure it was in Finland, that this guy just gunned it all the way across this incredibly large lake and went all the way to the other side of it.
Really?
And
it was water.
Yeah. He went all the way over the surface of the liquid surface of this lake and pulled up on the other side. And there were a bunch of people like on the other side going like, the fuck? The fuck is this guy doing? Okay.
You got to wait till December, dummy.
I mean, it's Finland. You have to wait until.
Oh, yeah, true. September.
September 3rd. I really wish I could get some more kayaking in.
Yeah.
But if it's going to start snowing here, I don't know how much I'll accomplish, and it's getting colder and colder and colder. I think about 50 degrees is my limit for air temperature.
Right. And we're getting a series, actually more than one Roberta Clipper coming through.
A Roberta Clipper named after your wife.
Yeah, she invented it.
She invented those.
Yeah.
Well,
cold air blasts.
Tell your wife that I'm not very happy about that.
All right.
that she invented those.
Sure.
I really wish she hadn't. But the main problem is every day that it has been like above 50 degrees, the wind has been blowing 20 miles an hour.
Right.
And the one day that it didn't, I was doing weekend weather. So I mean, we talked about that last time.
Right.
We sat down.
That sucks.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get out on the water at all anymore this year, but I guess I have to be all right with that. And like, on the other hand, at the start of spring next year, you know, I will have a kayak, which I did not like. I bought my kayak so late into the season.
Did you get a good deal on it because of that, or
No?
Oh, that's terrible.
Nobody in the world over the last 7 months has gotten a good deal on a kayak.
A memoir by Cale Borner.
Yeah, nobody, like, they're all selling at or above MSRP. Nobody's offering deals on kayaks.
Because everybody wants one.
Everybody has been buying one. Maybe they do have discounts, but it's like nobody can keep inventory.
Right.
There's this YouTube channel I watch called Headwaters Kayak, where up until very recently, the guy owned a kayak store. He decided to close up shop while because unlike many businesses, they had a record year.
Sure.
It was an insane amount of year where it's like, this is a kayak shop. They sell kayaks at any given point. Over the last 7 months, he's had about 3 kayaks in the store.
Wow. So you kind of just had to be done.
Yeah, well, I mean, the inventory would come back eventually, but he just decided, I've been wanting to do some other stuff, and we made a shitload of money this year, so why don't we call it quits after we had a really good year instead of waiting until we had a fucking awful year.
Sure.
And we've all lost a whole bunch of money. Like, we all just made a shitload of money, so let's say it's good here. And
cash in when you're ahead.
Yeah. And so he's closing the store, but he's still doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, all that to say was to say that he, at a kayak store in California could only stock like 5 kayaks at a time.
Wow.
It's Prime Day when we're recording this.
Sure.
I was really hoping naively, because it's not the sort of thing they offer deals on Prime Day. I was naively hoping maybe they had like one of these expensive wooden paddles that I want on sale.
Nope.
That was, of course, not the case. That's such a niche item.
I've never taken advantage of Prime Day. I've never done it.
I think I bought something last year. I don't remember what I bought, but I was looking at buying maybe some wireless headphones, but or wireless earbuds rather, for kayaking.
Sure.
But that's not really necessary, especially since if I get the life jacket that I'm looking at, that has got a pocket right on the front, on the chest. I don't really need wireless earbuds, because the main problem that I have right now is my phone sits in a Ziploc bag in my backpack.
Right.
And I want to be listening to music while I'm paddling. And my headphone cable is not long enough. And also that means that there has to be an opening in the Ziploc bag, which it'd be much easier if I just had a pocket on my chest and like a water resistant case on my phone. Really, and I think Galaxy S9s are good up to a certain depth, which if you're wearing a life preserver in the first place, you're not going to be exceeding that depth. Like, it's not a life preserver. It's a life. If you're wearing a life preserver, you're wearing this big flotation ring. No, that's a personal flotation device. If you want to get real fucking fancy with it,
almost sounds sexual.
A PFD.
It's a personal flotation device.
Personal. Well, it's like personal watercraft.
Right.
No, that's a fucking jet ski.
Personal massager.
Personal, yeah, because it's always a back massager.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's what it is.
For your lumbar.
Yeah, this is a back massager. Absolutely.
Wow, why does it smell like salmon?
Poor Mr. Hitachi. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3, the early access. I have enjoyed my time with it, but that is with the caveat that I do think there are a lot of problems, and I think there's glitches and bugs and all of that galore, but I think there are also problems with the gameplay that I would prefer to see resolved and I hope are not in the full game. Most of those stem from me having so much experience in D&D 5th edition.
Right.
And I don't know if it's just a bias of like, oh, this is not this is an imperfect translation of this D&D rule. And like I have a lot of experience with that, and I've been playing their Larian Studios' previous game, Divinity: Original Sin 2, and I see so much stuff that goes on in that game that has been brought over to Baldur's Gate that I don't think belongs in a D&D game. Lots of elemental surfaces, which they like. You cast a spell and it creates this big area of fire, or people have fire bombs or grenades and stuff that they throw. Where that sort of stuff is very rare in D&D 5th edition.
Sure.
And it's usually costs a spell of some type. One of the if you want to create a big area of denial of fire that lasts multiple turns, the old trick was have the wizard cast grease and then light that on fire. Well, that is a thing you can do, but grease vials that you can just throw and just being grease puddles that are thrown by the enemies are constantly throwing shit at you that creates big areas of fire or poison, or like every single fucking one of them
in the game.
Almost every combat encounter, there's going to be a big area of the battle map that you cannot go into and that you have to jump through or jump out of. And jumping is a big part of the game, where it's like in D&D 5th edition, jump just costs movement.
Yeah.
And how far you can jump is based on your strength modifier. But it just costs movement. It does not allow you to disengage from an enemy. So if you jump away from somebody, they're going to get an attack of opportunity. Whereas in Baldur's Gate, jump and disengage are married to each other, and they're a bonus action. So you can't just disengage and not jump. You have to do both, and it's visually annoying, because that means every single combat encounter you're going to have your characters leapfrogging all over the fucking place. Enemies very rarely do it, so it's not annoying on that. A lot of my problems with the gameplay stem from things that are given to the players that are beneficial in the long run, but are just not faithful to D&D 5th edition. And maybe that's not right of me to complain about. And I don't know if someone who hasn't played D&D but is playing Baldur's Gate would be bothered by that at all. I don't know. Also, shoving is a bonus action, and because their gameplay is very vertical, it's very three-dimensional, which is different from most D&D games people play, where yes, of course you can have your battle map be three-dimensional, but unless you have terrain pieces to support that, when you're playing in person, it's very hard for a dungeon master to manage, like, oh, you're this high up and it's this far away, and that's very difficult to manage. So most people just make flat two-dimensional battle maps, so they don't have to worry about that. And when things are very 3D, and a goblin comes up to your face and you are on top of like this fairly high object, you can just shove them off and they'll probably die. You don't even have to attack them. Just shove them and they'll go flying like 200 feet and die. And it's fun. It's fun. I enjoy that. But I
push
just
a goblin to his death.
Yeah, I just feel like it's really overpowered, which is a weird thing to say when you are the player. It's one thing for an ability to be really overpowered in the tabletop game when the balance of it also includes the dungeon master, right? Player characters having really overpowered abilities can make things really hard on a dungeon master trying to compensate for that. When it's a video game, you don't give a fuck about the dungeon master. The dungeon master's your fucking computer.
Sure.
Who gives a shit? You don't have to worry about hurting the dungeon master's feelings because you continually stomp on him every combat encounter. I don't think my processor cares that I haven't lost a battle. But yeah, it's I enjoy it, but there are a lot of problems with it.
Right.
There are a lot of things that need to be ironed out.
And your processor has seen lots of shameful things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of I think there's some tweaks. I don't think there's anything too major that needs to be reworked.
Do they give you the opportunity to have a voice in this? I mean, are they getting the people who early, bought it early? What's your feedback?
Well, most of the feedback is centered around bug reports.
Okay.
And if the game experiences a crash, it immediately brings up a screen that says, "Hey, what were you doing when the game crashed? Send us describe it to us and send us a message." But in the launcher screen, there is also a bug report feature. But as far as like gameplay feature suggestions, that I think is more limited to people shouting at them on Reddit and Twitter and shit. There has been like a weird amount of backlash to Larian put out a tweet where they took an average of all the characters people have made, and the average character people make in Baldur's Gate 3 is just a white dude with short brown hair.
Really?
Like, there's so many other, not so many other races available at the moment. It's a bit limited. There's a limited number of classes and limited number of races. Then they're going to be adding more to the game as early access continues. But right now, everybody's just, a very white bread looking human male. And Larian was like, we're kind of disappointed about this. And people have been kind of running with that and really trashing the player base of Baldur's Gate and D&D in general, which I think is really uncharitable and unfair because I think especially when you're playing an early access game and you're making your character, there's like, okay, I'm just going to go with what's easy and what's familiar, especially if somebody's never played D&D before. They don't know what the fuck a tiefling is.
Well, is there a default?
It starts like the default thing is as a human. I think actually he's a female human is the default,
really?
Or at least that's what just is on the screen when you start character creation. But it's not like they're the other races are hidden or anything. Right. It's just like that's just what comes up.
I just feel more likely the default position is going to be chosen more than the others.
Yeah, and I would probably agree with that. People who just want to get into the game aren't going to spend hours making their character necessarily. I just think some of the backlash to that, or like games journalists have been running like, the people who play Baldur's Gate are, uncreative white males. It's like, what else would we expect? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, that's probably true, but
it's not wrong.
You ain't wrong, but I don't appreciate the insinuation. No, like I made a human dude. I made him look like trying to think of the right term. I made him look like Half Dan from the show Vikings.
Oh, okay.
So he's got like a bunch of face tattoos and a beard and like, crazy hair and whatnot. He looks like he's a pretty Viking. He's a pretty Viking with eyeshadow and shit. It's like I made a human male, but that's mostly because I enjoy making fighters. And I kind of forgot that there's no human variant in this. And part of the benefit of choosing the variant human is instead of getting a +1 to all your attributes, you get a +2 or +1 to 2 of your attributes and a free feat at level 1.
Nice.
Which is really good for making like Battle Master fighters. Because you can have that feat be like Polearm Master or Sentinel or something that has a lot of utility for keeping a front line in order and preventing enemies from getting back towards the other characters. But neither of those feats are in the game at the moment. So that's also a big problem. Anyway,
so I would hate to be the guy at the company whose job it is. All right, I want you to constantly monitor Twitter and Reddit for comments about the game.
Well, and I think, like they've had some kind of negative reviews, which I think people reviewing the game at all at this point is stupid.
Silly. Yeah.
It's so stupid. It's early access and it's very much early access. It's not like,
what's the difference between this and beta? I mean, really?
A beta is usually a closed set period of time.
Sure.
A beta usually lasts like 2 weeks, and then you can't play the game anymore until it releases. Early access starts much earlier in the development process than a beta normally does. A beta is usually almost a complete game. Right. They just need to work out some multiplayer bugs, probably. Early access, on the other hand, is the game is being built as we go along. Like that's how Subnautica was done. When you could first purchase and play Subnautica, there was probably a tenth of the amount of features in that as there are in the current version of the game.
I noticed about Subnautica too, by the way, that I was yesterday. I was going through my game saves that I have on my PS4. That is the largest game save by far.
It's not a very well optimized game.
No,
not even for my beefy ass computer. It doesn't run all that well. Yeah, it's not a particularly well optimized game. When it's running well, it looks amazing, but it has some optimization issues that have never quite gotten resolved. Pop-in is really bad, like texture pop-in is and just asset in general, where if you're going really fast and like your, what is it, the Seamoth is your little speedy like shallow submarine. If you're going really fast in that, you can have the GTA San Andreas problem where an underwater tree will pop into existence the second after you hit it. That sort of shit can happen, and does often happen. Because once you know like the shallow areas, you fucking zip around.
Sure.
But anyway, talked about Baldur's Gate for a really long time. Also started watching season 2 of The Boys.
Sure.
I'm only two episodes in. And speaking of Amazon stuff, trailer for season 5 of The Expanse came out.
Really? You didn't tell me that.
Yes, I did.
Did you?
I for sure did.
Did I watch it?
I'm about to open up a text message that says,
"Oh, yes, you did."
Season 5, Expanse season 5 trailer is out. And you responded, "Must see," with 3 exclamation points on either end.
I probably, wait a minute. Was it a teaser or was it a trailer?
I think it was a full trailer. It was like 2 minutes.
I probably watched it then.
Yeah, you just don't remember any of it. But yeah, it's more of The Expanse. Yay!
Yay! Great show.
It's a really good show. I guess I hadn't heard much more about what's his name?
Alex. The pilot.
Yeah, I don't remember the actor's name, but being a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I haven't heard too much more about that. I mean, his screen time in the trailer is about a half a second.
But he is in it. Yeah,
he is in it. I think when all that shit came out, they were pretty much done with filming. I don't remember the actor's name at the moment, but
he's Canadian.
In any case, I haven't heard much about that recently, but who knows? Maybe he's not a piece. I sure hope he isn't a piece of shit. I don't need more of that news. Me and one of our other coworkers have been fans of a company called Rooster Teeth for quite a long time. And
there was an issue there.
Yeah, though 2 branches of that company are in some pretty dire straits at the moment because male members of their staff could not keep their members in their pants.
By that you mean dicks, right?
Yeah. In 2 very different situations, but neither of them were particularly good. One was a lot less illegal than the other. But it's I don't need more of that because I wasn't, Achievement Hunter was one of them. I haven't watched Achievement Hunter in a long time, but it was a big part of my life for like 4 years. So I was like, yeah, that sucks to hear. The other channel was Funhouse, and I've continued to watch Funhouse to this day.
Right.
And I really, really enjoy their content. And that kind of sucked to hear that happened. And it's just like, I don't need any more of this. I don't need any more of this. People just stop fucking whipping your dicks out. Stop whipping your dicks out. Nobody wants to see it. Christ.
No. If you've seen one dick, you've probably seen all the dicks. I mean, they vary in size and proportion and whatever.
Length and what way they bend and all that.
Why would anyone give a shit?
Nobody wants to see your dick unless they ask to see your dick.
Mm-hmm.
Wait until somebody asks to see your dick and then go ahead and show them.
Now, if you want to send someone a picture of somebody else's dick, also don't do that.
Yeah, don't do, just consent is important. I hope I don't need to tell anybody in our audience that. This is a weird tangent. We've gone down a weird road. Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
It's an Atlanta-based speed metal band founded in 1983, and that's about all I fucking know about them.
Really?
I couldn't find jack shit for like information. They don't have a Wikipedia page. I couldn't find anything for like biographical information about the history of the band other than they
continue to make records.
Yeah, they continue to make records for quite some time. They're currently split up.
Right.
I don't remember exactly when the split up happened. I think it was like 2008.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's over a decade.
Like when their last album came out was 2008. I don't really know anything about them. I don't have any information about them. So I guess I'll let you take the lead because you brought this here.
Sure, I have a little more than you do.
Okay.
But I got this album back in 1988. Was that when it was new? 88?
It was 1988.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of a rhyme.
Anyway,
it's a Kid Rock song, everybody.
Yeah, he was doing Kid Rock. In case you missed out on that,
Kid Rock, notable piece of shit.
But I bought this on cassette down in Subic Bay, is where I was.
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines, yeah.
I see. This was how many? Wait, you bought this album, but this album came out in 1994, didn't it?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% positive.
We listened to Monument, right?
Yes. Maybe it was a re-release in 94?
Maybe.
What do you got there?
My phone.
I know it's your phone. I was just wondering where you were looking.
I'm just Google.
You're like my wife. I go in the kitchen, she'll be doing something. So what you making? I'm cutting a potato.
It just
I can see that.
It just says June 21st. Oh, now I see 1988.
Yeah.
Why they did a re-release 6 years later? Why? Well, so I guess maybe they were on a different label.
Maybe.
Because the label for the 94 release says Metal Blade. And I wonder if maybe they were not on Metal Blade before. I don't know. Anyway, so you got this album.
I got it on cassette. I think I got an Overkill album. I bought a Nuclear Assault album, and I bought this album on cassette on the same day.
I see.
So happy. I was like, treasure hunter.
Absolutely.
Because
that's always great when you have a good haul.
Oh yeah, because the BX at the naval base had way better music selection than the BX at the Air Force Base.
I suppose.
So,
yeah. I mean, it's right there. It's where they get shipped in.
Sure.
Probably.
It's a port.
Yeah, it's a port. So that's I mean, that might be why people aren't airdropping in heavy metal records on cassette.
Maybe they were at the time.
Maybe there's more metalheads in the Navy than there were in the Air Force at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, so we listened to this album an awful lot, actually.
I see.
Back then. And I didn't realize until recently that the second song on here is not a Hallows Eve song.
So it's the second song. I didn't know which song was that you mentioned a Queen song.
Yeah.
Sheer Heart Attack.
Sheer Heart Attack
is a Queen song.
It's from 1974. Yeah.
Sheer Heart Attack.
The hell album
it's
was
an
this
album.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sheer Heart Attack is an album.
The title track from...
Where's the title track on here? I don't see a title track.
No. That's right. It wasn't on the Sheer Heart. The song Sheer Heart Attack was not on the album Sheer Heart Attack.
Yeah, here's the song. Okay, tell me what album it is. Spotify. News of the World.
Yes, where they're all dead in the hands of a robot.
From 77.
Oh, 77.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The album Sheer Heart Attack was in 74.
Yes. There's my confusion.
So I wonder what possesses a thrash/speed metal band to do a cover of an over decade old Queen song.
I don't know. I imagine if you if you were into metal at all,
you probably liked Queen.
Yeah, especially prior to 1990.
Yeah.
You grew up spinning Queen records.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's entirely possible to quote Joe Rogan. Yeah. So what did Hallows Eve continue to be a band that you listened to?
I am the worst fan of anything ever in the entire world, because I will get an album by a band I really like and listen to the shit out of it
and never get another album by them
and never follow the rest of their career for the rest of my life.
I feel like that's how most people did it, though.
Yeah.
Like when getting new albums, depending upon where you were, was not all that accessible. Now, if my favorite band puts out a new album, I can listen to it the instant it has released
for basically free.
Yeah. So I think that's probably how a lot of people listen to music. A lot of people didn't listen to albums at all. A lot of people,
I feel like that's more now than it was then.
Yeah. But I feel like even then, I mean, because that's how you bought music more or less was by the album. But like, singles were still a thing, I guess.
I had a few singles.
Yeah. But it's like now, I suppose.
Now you can just pick and choose whatever song you want to cram in your ear holes.
Now, people don't buy music now, though.
No.
People like
they pay for a streaming service and listen to it that way.
Absolutely. And I'm guilty of that as well. The only music that I buy is vinyl these days, because I don't have an Apple device. I'm not going to buy it on iTunes. I suppose I could be buying it digitally on Bandcamp or something like that, and have my have downloads in a folder and listen to it through my preferred MP3 player on my computer. But I don't want to do that either. So I would.
That's extra work for more money.
Yeah. So for me, it's like if I'm gonna buy something, it's going to be a physical copy. That I can put in a collection and display.
Yeah.
It's a collectible item, and I've been an awful vinyl fan lately. I need to go to the fucking record store. I like once a week I'm like, I should go to the record store, and I don't do it.
I felt bad this weekend. I went for a long walk, did my 20,000 steps on Saturday, and I walked past Budget Music and Video like twice, and I waved at Dylan both times. I'm thinking to myself,
you should just go in and get something.
I didn't bring a mask.
Just get a CD.
Yeah.
Like I mean, the last vinyl album I bought was probably Departure Songs by We Lost the Sea. But I had to order that from, wherever it was being pressed.
Sure.
I think it was pressed in France or some shit.
Why France?
That's probably just a vinyl manufacturer that gave them a good deal.
Aren't they Australian?
Yeah. But, I think it probably costs a fuckload to ship anything out of Australia.
Well, yeah, and the problem is that records in Australia
are backwards.
They spin the other way.
They spin the other way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I saw where you were going with that.
So it's hard to have them manufactured there and sell them to the rest of the world.
Of course. But yeah, I imagine it's probably easier to manufacture and ship things out of some place in Europe than it is to manufacture and ship something out of Australia. I think I've heard plenty of Australians complain about how fucking expensive literally everything is down there.
Really?
A lot of it has been like Warhammer fans complaining about how expensive the models are, which is incredible because Warhammer minis are ludicrously expensive to begin with. Yeah, they're incredibly expensive everywhere you go. They're even more expensive in Australia. The cheapest place in the world to get Warhammer minis is probably at the Games Workshop store or headquarters in the UK. That's probably the cheapest place,
especially if you have
to get new anyway.
Dark clothes and a bolt cutter. Yeah.
A 5-finger discount. What was that?
That was me. I'm sorry. No, that was a
weird noise.
It was a moped of some sort.
It almost sounded like a whale through my headphones.
It was like a ruckus or something.
A ruckus. You think it was a ruckus? You think it was somebody's mobility scooter?
No, a ruckus. You've seen a ruckus, haven't you?
Isn't a ruckus? I'm thinking of a rascal.
You give a rascal. A ruckus are those little short of the ground. They beat feet like hell. But you always see these like they're 35-year-old dude on it. Yeah, with the long beard.
They're tiny, but going like 65 miles an hour. Jesus. That's got to be dangerous. Well, yeah. So Hallows Eve. Do you think this album slaps?
I don't know if it slaps.
It fucking slaps.
You think it slaps?
I think this slaps.
All right.
This is a speed metal album.
It is.
This is closer to the definition. This is closer to what we usually say slaps than anything we've listened to in about 4 months.
I was worried that you were going to have a problem with the guy's voice.
I thought it was fine.
Okay,
it's not. There's nothing.
I like it.
I will say it's a bit uninteresting. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not particularly notable. Is the only thing. It
was extremely notable 32 years ago.
I imagine so. Yeah. And there's some moments on here where he kind of screams and yells, but most of the time it's kind of, to me anyway, a fairly standard sort of thrash metal kind of rasp to it.
Kind of, yeah. He has a little bit of that Glenn Danzig quality.
Yeah, a little bit. Especially in that little
at the very end
tumor attached to that last song. I don't know what the fuck they were doing there. Where they attached this come on, baby, burn this whole place down. Yeah, this very rock and roll. Like 50s rock and roll bit to wrap up the album. It's not even a full song. It's it's a minute and a half.
And then they kind of give up and start laughing. Track. Yeah.
Which I think is funny. It seemed that was a very thrash metal thing to do. It seemed like a lot of thrash metal bands do that, where it's like, this last track, we're just going to do something fucking stupid. Right. And you can hear all of us laughing at it in the studio. A lot of bands seem to have done that, probably because, a lot of the guys in thrash metal bands throughout the mid to late 80s were, 22. Sure. And they were probably drinking or smoking weed and just doing dumb shit.
I think I can't remember what song I was listening to. I think it was Rotgut, the song Rotgut. I was watching the YouTube video for it, and the top comment I saw, I don't know why I was reading the comments, but there I was reading the comments, and somebody said, "Hey, it's my dad."
No. Yeah. Oh no. Is Rotgut about a school shooting?
I don't know exactly. It sounds like it might be,
because I wasn't paying too close attention to the lyrics. Maybe I should have looked them up, but it was like some mention about a public school and then shooting a gun a whole bunch of times.
It's either about a school shooting or masturbation.
It could be that masturbating at a school. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, the first part is, find a closet, hide from mom, suck some rot gun, load my gun.
I feel like that is, this is a kid that's been abused. He's hiding from mom in his closet. Now he's going to get he's going to get drunk before he goes to school. So he has the courage to shoot at people. I think that is, maybe. I think that, to me, that's how I interpret those lyrics.
And in 1988, that was not a hot button issue.
Yeah, that was not going to be something that, I think it's always in poor taste. Sure. It was always in poor taste, but this is pre-Columbine where, that wasn't a thing that happened every other week.
Wow, Columbine, holy crap, was 19 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years ago.
Columbine was in the 90s.
Was it in the 90s?
Yeah,
I thought it was 2001.
Columbine was in 97 or something, or 99.
I know what happened on April 20th.
Columbine shooting. 99.
Oh, it was in 99?
April 20th, 99.
So it's 21 years ago, almost 22.
But yeah, I think that's kind of what brought that to public attention. I'm sure it happened before, but I can't think of a single notable national incident that happened before that shooting. Right. At least at a public school, rather. Of course, there was college shootings before the UT massacre and whatnot. Right. I can't think of anything that happened at a high school before that. But yeah, we went down into a dark corner there once again. What's your favorite track on this album?
My favorite track on this album, oddly, that we're talking about, it might be Rot Gut. Because,
Rot Gut has some very good riffs.
Yeah, it's got great riffs. It's very catchy, quirky.
There's a ton of good riffs on this album. This album is laden with good riffs. I wonder.
Well, Speed Freak is also great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. Like the riffs are good, but I don't know if they really made this album. I suppose when it came out in '88, it would have stood out a bit more than in '90. The difference in the heavy metal music scene between 1988 and 1994 is fucking staggering.
Yeah. I mean, there was a blossom.
How incredibly different those two music scenes are 6 years apart.
Yep.
But in any case, I think even in '88 for like thrash and speed metal, as good as the riffs are, I don't know if there was anything particularly inventive going on.
No,
it was fine. I wrote down the title track. I think there was some solid riffs on there.
Monument.
To nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of good riffs going. I must confess that I have not had a lot of time with this album.
Sure.
Because this week has sped by me for some reason.
It's been Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I blame Baldur's Gate. But like I listened to a couple of tracks last week. I got a little ways into the album and then didn't listen to it at all until I got home from work today. And it was like, I have to listen to this album. So I have not listened to it as many times as I typically do when we record an episode. So it's hard for me to recall my favorite moments in particular. But I do like the title track. This is a fine album. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just nothing particularly caught my interest all that much.
Sure.
I guess we're leading into bestowing upon this a medal like Maz Kanata to Chewbacca.
As much as I love this album, it definitely gets a silver medal, but I pull it out every now and then to give it a listen.
There you go. I don't know why that was a dick joke to me. You don't give it a listen, but you pull it out every once in a while.
Give it a rub every now and then.
Yeah, just to see if it still has feeling. Just see if it hasn't gone numb.
Hit it a few times with that ball peen hammer.
Oh no!
Make salsa.
I mean, it's in the name, right?
Yeah, ball peen. Yeah, ball peen.
It's funny. It's funny.
I know a dude.
It's a funny kind of hammer.
Last name was Hammer, and I almost had him convinced. Ball peen would have been a good child's name. Other people were saying things like Claw or Jack or Wizen.
Who would name their kid Ball though? This is my child Ball.
Ball peen.
This is the Ball. Now that's like Dimension 20, where the first season there's one of them is playing a goblin.
Yeah.
His name is Riz, but the very first day, some bullies throw him in the trash like he's a basketball, and from then on, everyone calls him the Ball. And eventually he comes to own it, and he likes it because also one of the guys that was kind of participating in the bullying, two of the guys that participated in that bullying incident actually become like his best friends. So
and they call him the Ball.
They still call him the Ball. And he's proud of being called the Ball at this point. Riz has some problems.
Sure.
But go watch Dimension 20 on YouTube. It's a great D&D series that takes place. Fantasy High is the first season. It's imagine a John Hughes movie, but it's D&D. I didn't say what I'm giving this, by the way. It's a silver. I'm also giving this a silver. Yes. I don't think I actually said that aloud before we moved on from it. Next week, we discussed this previously. We're going to be listening to Black One by the band Sun, which if you are trying to type that into your browser at the moment, like what is this band? It's SUNNO (parenthesis). which the last part is related. All of it is related to the name of a particular brand of amplifiers. And the O parenthesis is a recreation of their logo.
Right. It's a speaker projecting sound.
Yes. But their name is said Sun.
That's all it is. And I was it last week or the week before? I don't know. We were standing over your record player playing this album, Black One,
which is on white vinyl.
Yeah. Irony. So yes. I took a snap of it, a video snap of it spinning, and everybody said, "Oh shit, what's wrong? What happened? What's going on in there?"
No, it's just
that's the music.
It's just a spooky ambient album. Yeah. Calm down. Yeah, no, it's I wanted, since we're well into October at this point.
Yeah,
I wanted something that was kind of spooky, but I don't listen to a lot of bands that specifically evoke Halloween, so I just wanted to find something that I thought was spooky. You're thinking of Halloween right now.
Yes, I am.
I mean, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
eventually. What was it that we listened to last year? That was the Dave King was the singer.
Oh, that would be Trick or Treat soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack to Trick or Treat.
Yeah, by Fastway.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're thinking of Halloween at the moment.
I am.
So it has to happen. It has to happen.
The album I'm thinking of is fantastic. I've gone back and listened to it and gone, oh, this is kids' music. This sounds like something you'd play at a little girl's birthday party, but it's still good though. I like it.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun if nothing else. But yeah, the only thing I could think of was like, what is music that actually scared me? And it was Black One.
Sure.
And I guess we'll talk context for that next week. But yeah, the first time I listened to it, it was very dark and I was in a strange place. And so it was like, I don't need to listen to this right before I go to bed. But yeah, it's kind of a spooky ambient album. And we'll talk about it next time.
Okay.
Till we do that, you can find our social media pages on Facebook and on Twitter. We just post links to new episodes. If you're like, perhaps you're sitting at your desk and would like to listen to it through your browser. That is a thing you can do there. Otherwise, on your mobile device, we're on the podcast source that you can find in the Google Play Store. That is our Libsyn feed. And we are also, of course, on Apple Podcasts. You can find us there.
Wow, we're everywhere.
Yeah, we're not quite everywhere. There's like a whole bunch of other places that people go to get their podcasts where we are not on.
Oh, really? Like what?
There's like Stitcher and like Podbean and like SoundCloud and Spotify, and in a lot of other podcasts, in their promos, they're like, or wherever you get your podcasts. For us, we can't say that.
No. What would that cost?
I don't know. An amount.
More than you're willing to pay.
More than I'm willing to pay.
Yeah.
So we just use Libsyn's services, which gets us on iTunes, and that's enough for me.
Libsyn, you're awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
and it gets on YouTube as well.
Yeah, it gets on YouTube because people love to listen to podcasts on YouTube.
Nobody listens to podcasts on YouTube.
That is 100% true. It's not 100% true. People watch video podcasts on YouTube.
Yes.
If you want to sit down and watch a 4.5 hour long episode of the fucking Joe Rogan Experience. I'm not don't want to talk ill about other podcasters because we know Joe Rogan. No.
Not a big fan of Joe Rogan?
I'm not a fan. I'm sure people always say he gives really good interviews. I'm just not a fan of the man himself. And people that listen to him seem to take his opinions as gospel. And he has some fucking weird ideas about shit. And also just the sheer length. I don't just want to sit and listen to a dude fucking talk for 4 hours.
No, that's insane.
If I'm going to spend 4 hours watching or listening to anything, it's going to be The Lord of the Rings, or it's going to be like Critical Role or something, where at the very least there's 7 people and they're playing a game I'm very familiar with. I don't have 4 hours of my time to listen to Joe Rogan talk about hairless chimps.
I think I've seen clips from the Joe Rogan podcast. but mostly I know him from Fear Factor. Yeah.
If you showed somebody a picture of Joe Rogan, the average person, they would probably say, "Oh, is that the guy from Fear Factor?"
Yeah.
Or is that the guy? Is that the UFC guy?
Yeah.
Both are correct. But yeah, it's I don't have that much fucking time. It's the same thing with the H3 podcast or whatever, Ethan Klein. Those are insanely long. I don't have patience for that shit. Keep it to an hour at most.
I mean, they're doing it in a way where they get more money.
Yeah.
The longer your content, the longer people listen to your content, the more money you're probably going to get out of it.
The more ad revenue you potentially can make.
It's like there's been a lot of like
even Your Mom's House is too long for me.
Yeah. You're talking about the podcast, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. The Tom Segura.
No, the house your mom lives in is too long.
She does live in a longhouse.
Your mom lives in like a Iroquois longhouse.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of little news videos I used to watch. I'm a regular subscriber to this news video thing. It's cool because they give you 5 minutes of what's happening in the news right now.
Yeah.
Now they're like a half an hour. I'm like, I don't have a half an hour to listen to you talk about the news.
Just give me the good shit.
Yeah.
Just give me the good shit. I mean, we're certainly long-winded enough.
Oh,
we
certainly.
were getting around to ending the episode about 5 minutes ago. So we might as well... We haven't gone too long today. Is in general. I'm just saying we were trying to end the episode about 5 minutes ago until we started talking about other things. So let's do that now.
We're like the people standing in your door when you're holding the door and they're talking to you while you're holding the door and looking at them.
We're Midwesterners. Yeah. That's our way of life. Yeah. That's what we do.
Okay, you're not wrong.
So thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.
That was loud.
Yeah, I had to grab the empty one because this one is basically full.
Oh yeah, we don't want another spill. We've had spills. It's very nasty spills.
Very nasty spills all over the table, but thankfully not on the carpet.
Yeah, the carpet. You don't want the carpet to be moist with beer.
Ugh,
moist with beer.
Nasty.
Beer.
That's nasty.
Moist. Beer.